Okay, let's go ahead and start on some of our steps that we're going to use to get prepared. And some of these things are going to often have as much to do with the outcome as the drawing that we've learned to do. I want you to make sure that you're not damaging your paper at all costs. I really try to protect my paper because I don't want to see damage, to have things show up that will distract from what I'm trying to communicate. And there's a number of things I want you to take into consideration. One of the things is when you get a tablet of paper, and you may have one of these for a worksheet. We're going to talk about several different sizes of the paper if you haven't seen the materials video. But I want to make sure that when you start to use a tablet that you really fold this back so that it separates itself from the paper. Sometimes it'll fold here instead, and it'll actually be stuck to the paper, and then you can't really get it out. We want to be able to remove the sheets of paper. I want you to make sure you don't struggle with it, because it's real tempting to just say, well, this should come out of here, and then you end up with a dent. And this dent is never going to go away. You can damage your paper in many, many, many ways, but I really want you to protect your paper because, again, it may not show here because it's flooded with light and you don't cast any shadow that way. But as soon as you get it framed and in your house, this is what's going to happen. You're going to end up by seeing those dents in places that you never thought they were. So I really encourage you to really pay attention to not only protecting your paper while you're working on it, but just getting that first sheet out. And so what I want you to be able to do when you're getting that sheet out is to take this from this one corner and you pull it away. You'll see how it separates from that one top corner, and you pull it all the way to the other end, and you do it without any struggle. And so that is the first thing you want to do. I'll often ask people, what are you going to do with your paper? Because when you take that piece of paper out, the top side is what they expect you to work on, evidently. And you'll find that there's a little more grain on that tooth, whatever you want to call it, a little heavier texture on the top side than there is on the back. And so what I do is I make sure that this light is at an angle enough that it is casting shadows on the little hills and valleys representing the texture. And we want to make those shadows as long as possible so that we can go ahead and tell what side we should be working on. So when I am helping a student and they're getting their piece of paper out, I'll say, what are you going to do with your piece of paper? And the thing I want them to do is to check which side they're going to use. So in almost every case, unless they made a mistake and put the paper upside down, I would have them turn the paper over. But I don't want you to be satisfied with that because, again, it's easy to tear a piece of paper, get busy with something else, and you don't remember to check it when you start drawing and it got flipped over somehow and you start drawing on the coarse side anyway. I really want you to pick that other side. I want you to really protect your paper, and we just have all kinds of things in our hands. If we're not thinking about it, I want you to really think about keeping your hands clean. First of all, especially you women out there have a lot more lotion than us guys are probably apt to use. And so it's not only that, but the normal body oils we have in our skin can get transferred. I've had times where I was working on a picture for a long time and actually just put my hand on my forehead, put it back down on my paper, got to drawing, and the graphite actually accumulates and it starts showing fingerprints. Sometimes it really threw me for a loop. I couldn't figure out what in the world had happened. Why did I keep coming up with this print on the forehead of a picture or something? And so you really want to make sure that you've cleaned your hands, that if you've eaten especially you clean your hands. Don't have food and drink around your picture if you can help it. And that's not always easy because of the place you may have to work. There's a lot of people, again, that work on dining room tables and countertops. And so you really want to take care, though, and protect your paper. The water will do it no good. And sugar, if you're eating a snack, oils from chips and crackers and all kinds of things make it very difficult to get it off, and the graphite and dirt and everything starts accumulating on that. So I really encourage you to do everything you can to keep your hands clean, and then when you have washed your hands, make sure that they're dry. I've seen water collect in rings and little crevices in your hand, and that will go ahead and make little welts on your paper, and so especially if you're doing some other medias too. But anyway, get used to putting this piece of paper underneath your hand. Have one of these available all the time so that you can go ahead and get in a habit. It really is easy to forget it, and then you end up by rubbing your previously drawn part of your picture. We'll be going over our picture overall a number of times, and this will keep from transferring the things that are on your hand, and also this isn't going to answer all the problems, because you can even actually accumulate graphite on the back of your paper. And so you want to every once in a while check. If you've been using your paper for a while, check it and get a new one. It's worth it. So that's a few of the things that I'd like to make sure that you take into consideration. And then your tabletop, make sure it's a clean surface. It's real easy just to not think about everything. I've been anxious to draw sometimes and had to draw in places that I got something on my paper that I didn't think about. Children being around it, animals, all those things you want to just be careful about as the best you can. I often, or always tell my students to use a cover sheet and to protect the picture in between working on it. So anyway, let's go on to the next thing.